Dear viewers, welcome back to the greatest Sufis. Alhamdulillah, we are discussing today Shah Shams Tabrez rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. And I told you that Maulana Rumi rahmatullahi alayh became a disciple after seeing the miracle on the hand of Shah Shams Tabrez, that he lifted the books, quenched books from the lake intact. And he fell at the feet of Maulana Shams Tabrez and he said, Ya Shaykh, I want to become your disciple. Maulana Rumi rahmatullahi alayh realized at that time, for all his life, he had been acquiring the education, the ilm of the book, ilmul lisan. But this was nothing compared with ilmul qalb, with the other knowledge which Shah Shams Tabrez possessed. So this is why he left everything. He detached himself from everything. And he only attached himself to this person, his Shaykh, Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullahi alayh, in order to get that ilmul qalb, to get that spiritual blessing, to get that spiritual knowledge from him. The disciples of Mawlana Rumi, the family members in fact also, became enemies of Shah Shams Tabrez. They made it difficult for him to live, because these family members, these disciples, were shocked and were not happy to see that our great faqih and jurist of Konya has left teaching, and he has just now associated himself with a dervish, and he forgot everything, and he is not any more interested into these things. So we have lost a very valuable person because of this dervish. So they became enemies. In fact, many attempts were made to murder Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh. In one of these attempts, one son of Maulana Rumi rahmatullah alayh was also part of the conspiracy. And in fact, Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh once suddenly just disappeared from the face of Konya. Nobody was able to see him. Maulana Rumi rahmatullah alayh became very, very sad and grieved in the love of Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. And he had to go through a lot of pain, a lot of suffer. And Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh left, and from there on went to Baghdad. He never met Maulana Rumi rahmatullahi alayh again. Maulana Rumi rahmatullahi alayh after this time then wrote the Masnavi, the beautiful expression of love through the book Masnavi Maulana Rum rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. In Baghdad, Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullahi alayh also started getting enemies. And among these enemies were the ulama of that time, the scholars of that time, those who did not have knowledge of ilmul qalb, just knowledge of ilmul lisan. In fact, the ruler of that place of Baghdad, he was forced to warn Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh to leave the city, leave Baghdad, since he was a person he did not needed anymore there, and he was a person who did not want to have there. The night Shah Shams Tabrezi left Baghdad also was a night which was a very difficult night in the life of the ruler of the time. He in fact had a healthy son, Shahzada Muhammad, who passed away the same night. He was told by one of his wazirs, advisors, that you have asked a dervish, a friend of Allah, to leave the city of Baghdad, and you have made him your enemy. And this is hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Man adali waliyan faqad azantuhu bil harb. Whoever hurts my friend, my wali, then faqad azantuhu bil harb, then I will fight with him. I announce war against that person. So you are being punished through the death of your son by being so, by having that attitude towards Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh. The king sent his soldiers to get Shah Shams Tabrezi. Shah Shams Tabrezi was brought to the palace, into the palace, and then the king brought him into the room where the dead body of Shahzada Muhammad was, and said, Ya Shaykh, please forgive me for my mistake. Shah Shams Tabrezi said, what are you talking about? I do not know about anything. How can I know? Allah is the giver of life and the taker of life. Why are you asking me forgiveness? Then they said, please, if you will forgive, Allah will forgive also. Shah Shams Tabrezi raised his hand supplication and he said, Oh Allah, Ya Allah, if you have taken the life of this child to punish this person, the king, then remember I have forgiven him. Ya Allah, you forgive him also. At the same spot, my dear viewers, that person, Shahzada Muhammad, became alive again. Allah put the soul back into the body and he became alive. Shahzada Muhammad became a disciple of Shah Shams Tabrezi. But unfortunately, the ulama of that time, the shuyukh of that time, they referred to this miracle as as a performance of magic, and they then said that he is a magician, and he had hypnotized the prince. The prince, however, he remained with Shah Shams Tabrezi, and Shah Shams Tabrezi was labeled as a kafir and punished in a very evil way. He was tortured in such a way that his skin was burnt, and so much that he became apparently an ugly person. People did not want to see him anymore. He had to leave Baghdad. Shahzada Muhammad, the crown prince, left the palace, left the kingdom, and he attached himself to his Shaykh Shah Shams Tabrezi, and they went to Multan. They lived in Multan. In Multan, another thing happened. Shah Shams Tabrezi once was with his disciple Shahzada Muhammad. They were hungry for many days. They did not had food, and somebody just gave them some meat, but they had no fire to roast the meat. And Shah Shams Tabrezi sent his disciple to others, to the people, to get some fire, but nobody gave fire. In fact, people injured and hurt Shahzada Muhammad. Shahzada Muhammad was injured and came to Shah Shams Tabrezi, and Shah Shams Tabrezi became angry, and he said to the son, he spoke to the son, addressed the son, and said, "Oh son, you are Shams and I am Shams. Listen, people not giving me anything. Raise your temperature, come closer, so I will be able to eat, and that meat will be roasted." The temperature of Multan was raised so much, people became worried and thought Qiyamah, the day of judgment, has started. So they all came, but they realized neither it is the day of Friday, neither Imam Mahdi alayhi salam has come, neither Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam has come, so how can it be the day of judgment? They realized that this is because of punishment. They had enmity against the friend of Almighty Allah, Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayh. So they went to him, asked forgiveness. Shah Shams Tabrezi said, "I would have forgiven you if it was a matter of me and you, but this is something about my beloved Shahzada Muhammad, the one who has left kingdom for me, the one who has left palaces for me, the one who has left dunya for me. How can I forgive you now? If he will forgive you, I will forgive you." They asked forgiveness. Shahzada Muhammad forgave them, since the true Sufi always forgives. The true Sufi always forgives. They forgave them, and then until now even the temperature of Multan is higher than any other city in Pakistan. And many people say this is the reason, because Maulana Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayhi once addressed the sun, and the temperature of the sun was risen. Now let us talk about the teachings of Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayhi. One of Shah Shams Tabrezi rahmatullah alayhi said, "Knowledge is for attaining the known. Knowledge is for attaining Allah, the known. Knowledge that takes you beyond, not beyond yourself, such knowledge is far worse than ignorance." Yani knowledge which will make you realize that you are knowledgeable, that you have something now, that you are an educational that you are an academic now. Knowledge which does not take you beyond yourself is not knowledge, and in fact ignorance is better than such knowledge. This is what Shah Shams Tabrezi said, because the real knowledge will take you beyond yourself and will then connect you with the known, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Shah Shams Tabrezi said, "The zikr of the tongue is of little account. The remembrance of the tongue is of little account. The remembrance of the hands, the zikr of the hands, is of higher account." He basically was saying that when you speak about goodness, this is small, this is rewarding, but not so much. But when you actually put those words into actions, you basically practice upon what you are saying, what you are propagating, then this is dhikr of higher account than the dhikr of little account. Then he also said, on the Shaykh discipline relationship, he said, what is the Shaykh's being and what is the disciple being? He said the Shaykh is the Shaykh and the disciple is nothing. A disciple is nothing. Until a disciple ceases to exist, he is not a disciple. He said if a disciple wants to be able to gain the spiritual blessings and effectively gain from the sohbah of his Shaykh, then he has to forget himself, annihilate himself. He has to go through the process of annihilation. He has to forget himself. He has to forget himself, totally loses himself, since after forgetting himself he will become a true disciple. Since then he will become a true disciple after forgetting himself and only having his shaykh into his mind. These are the great sayings of Shah Shams Tabrezi. Another thing before we finish I want to discuss. Some people say that Shah Shams Tabrezi was Shia. They say he belonged to the Shia sect. And one historian, famous historian Qasim Farishta, has referred to Shah Shams Tabrezi as someone who belonged to the Ismaili sect. This is not right, because many historians which came after Qasim Farishta, they have done research and they came to the conclusion the father of Shaykh Shah Shams Tabrezi, Sayyid Islahuddin Rahmatullah alayh, his forefathers, among them, some of them were Ismailis, some of them were Ismaili Shias, but then they became Sunnis, they became Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And after that, of course, Shah Shams Tabrezi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayh was also a Sunni. Also, if he was an Ismaili, Mawlana Rumi, a great scholar, would not become a disciple of a person who is Ismaili. He would only become a disciple of a person who is not ignorant and who is a Muslim. Ismailis, as you know, are not Shias. I'm not talking about Shias, I'm talking about Ismailis. So this is also I want to discuss. Inshallah, in the next episode we will talk about another Sufi Shaykh, his life and teachings. Inshallah, please do watch next week the greatest Sufis. Fi amanillahi wa rasulih.